Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this adjusted. I'm feeling very festive. If you can see what is happening behind me, I have some lights on this curtain behind me. I got a little garland. And I'm sipping on some hot cocoa. Yes, this is a mug that was actually for the fall because it has all these leaves, but still, the vibes can still be applied here. It's December, which means it is the last month in 2024. Now, I know I was kind of a little MIA for these last couple months, and I only really came on here to feature amazing guests, which I do have some really awesome ones coming up in the new year. So be sure to look out for that. But these last couple months, I was really using that time to honestly just reflect a lot and reevaluate a lot of the things in my own life, in my own just vibes and how I was feeling. And today that's what I kind of want to get into. I really want to talk about sort of my year in review and share with you all some tips that I have for moving forward, because they're also tips that I'm going to be using for myself. So cheers to a healthy and happy new year. Get yourself some hot cocoa, some tea, and settle in for the festive, cozy vibes. Um, so, this year was really such an interesting one for me because a lot of it was spent just kind of internalizing things. And I know a lot of my friends, most of my friends will say yeah, she's internalizes, she doesn't really talk about it until asked. And there's been a lot of projects I've been working on behind the scenes that are most likely just going to be coming up in the new year, because we're pretty much almost to the end of the year. And usually that means people are kind of winding down and settling down and not really too focused on work related things. So these last couple months especially is what I really kind of want to start out with. I'm going to kind of move backwards from that. These last couple months, I realized a lot within myself. I did so much reflection and just sort of because when you're not working and you're the only person kind of at home and you're spending all this time by yourself, or you don't get to see friends as often because a lot of them are already in the work field, there's a lot of things that you kind of experience within yourself of okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is how I'm feeling. And for me, I really started to pay attention to the things I wanted, the things I want for the future. I start thinking about long term and sort of thinking about what that looks like. And for me, it's all about my independence, and it's about what that feels like. So these last couple months, I started doing VRT, which, if you don't know what VRT is, it's basically where the government, through our commission for the blind, our state commission for the blind, they provide someone to come and help you do things around the house. Like for me, a big thing I've been doing this last week or so was cooking, because I really want to learn how to cook. I'm not a cook. I don't cook. I've done it before, but it's not something I do on a day-to-day basis, right? Because I'm still living at home, and most of the time my mom is making the meals anyways. But it's still, there's a lot of things I want to start making and creating and putting together for myself, because I'm really trying to be more on a health journey moving into this next year. So there's a lot of meals that I want to start preparing for myself. With VRT, I've been doing so much for myself. She's been teaching me how to just things that I've learned and I've known for a long time, but a lot of the things are things that I needed reminders on, right? Because like I said, I'm home. I'm here. I'm either working on content or working on building a schedule for podcasting or trying to find people to feature on here, or just spending time just working towards my business. And so with that, it's I have things that I'm I need a reminder on how to do this. So one big thing that we've been really focusing on is just sort of like tools to make my life a lot easier, which if you are subscribed to my YouTube channel, you'll see that video next. I kind of want to take you through some of the tools I've been using these last couple months that have made my life so much easier. Things like a toaster oven. One of the biggest things I've noticed in just the world right now is that everything is touch screen, and nothing is truly really accessible. And so I'm really grateful that she was able to find a toaster that actually uses like dials, and you can just turn them, and you don't have to worry about like putting in this and typing on a touch screen. And so that's made my life so much easier because I like making avocado toast, so like putting my toast in the toaster oven. There's an option to air fry. And if you guys want to see some like cooking things, again, subscribe to the channel, to my YouTube channel, because that's where you'll get to see more content that I have coming up for this next year. And so that has made my life so much easier because now I can just get up in the morning and I don't have to wait for someone to, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how you would make toast if you don't have a toaster or a toaster oven. I like I said, I don't cook. That's not my forte. That's not what I do. I've been spending so much time sort of just sorting through in my mind what it is I want to get better with and what are the things that I need to relearn. A lot of it has been like cleaning skills, staying organized. My room is preferably, I would say, if you were to ask my mother, she would say it's always messy. But I think I don't know. I used to be the person that was like super organized and like put this here and put that there and make sure this is, and I'm still like that. Like I still have organizational products and things like that to help my life. But at the same time, I still kind of am not like my room. I just mean is like not the cleanest. And so she's been helping me with tools to kind of help fix that and adjust that, and that's been really helpful for me. We've been talking about budgeting and finances, and that's something that I've really come to want to become better with because I'm shit with money. I am really trying to just get better with that and just trying to be a better person when it comes to my finances and the way I spend money. I'm currently not that great with like how I spend money, and I really want to get better. So we've been talking a lot about that and what that kind of looks like. These last couple months really was a time for me to think about sort of the things that matter and some of the things that really do that I need to do, right? And I'll tell you, like for the longest time, I was the person kind of like putting things on the back burner because I was like, oh, well, such and such person isn't going to approve and this is not right because I'm not thinking about this person and how they're feeling. And honestly, I've gotten to the point this month, especially of just knowing like, I need to do what I need to do for me, right? Like I have to go after the things that I want to go after. I need to do the things that I want to do because it's going to help me become a better person. It's going to push me into growth. It's going to push me into, uncomfortable territories, but that is sometimes a really healthy thing, change and thinking about what that looks like. And for me, it's about not hindering my growth. What that means is just like not allowing what somebody else tells me to really impact me the way that it does already. I've always said like I am a recovering people pleaser. I'm still working on it and I'm not the best with it right now. There's still a lot of areas of my life where I am still people pleasing, but those are the areas that I'm really trying to tap into to be like, no, I don't need to be a people pleaser here. For me, it's just a lot about writing. I've been doing so much writing. I'm just trying to get my thoughts out that way because I've noticed right now, that's what feels the most healthiest to me. That's what feels right. That's what has been working these last couple months is just like opening my journal, even on the days or the nights when it just doesn't feel like I want to do that, and still getting the thoughts out or the feelings or the emotions. Just continuing to push myself in a very healthy way of like making sure that I check in with myself, because I think that's a big part of my life where there's a little bit of lack and there's a little bit of like, I'm okay, just right. Like, that's what we always tell people, like, yeah, I am okay. But the truth is like, I've come to a point of just being like, I don't really need to be that closed off. I want to be vulnerable. I want to show people like, yeah, no, this is not okay, or I don't feel great about X, Y, and Z, or it's just not been my week. And I think sometimes we take that out on the people around us. And I think when you are surrounded by people, it's hard because you want to be kind and you want to show gratitude, but at the same time, you yourself are going through things internally that a lot of people may not understand. And even if they do, it's just like, how do I even phrase this when I don't know how to even say what this is, right? And for me, it's all about what do I need, right? I had someone close to me tell me a while ago, and it was honestly over the most simplest thing. I was like in the kitchen trying to get something, but this person was like, hey, like, what is it, did you want something? And I was just like, no. And I guess they could tell, like, I was kind of hesitating, and I was like, no, like, I'm good. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I think they were like, I was like, no, I'm okay, I'm good. And they were just like, no, like, don't be afraid to speak up, like, if you need something. And I think that's been something I've been carrying with me for so long, is just like remembering that. Don't be afraid to speak up if I need something. Like, I am someone that usually I try to figure things out for myself before I ask people for help. And I usually try to, like, say, hey, how can I like do this thing before I go to someone for help. And so I think knowing when to ask for help is a really big thing that I've been trying to tell myself to remember to do, and to keep that sort of idea in my head of like being like, hey, if it's something you really need help with, if you really can't figure it out, ask for help. Don't be afraid to speak up for what you need. And that's my message to you all. If you're someone like me who kind of just feels like it's hard asking for help, it's hard telling people what you need, it's hard speaking up about those things because you don't want to feel judged or you feel like you're too much. Honestly, this has been a mindset I've been trying to change about myself for a very long time, but especially this year, is just being like, no, I am not too much. I am not a burden. I am more than enough, and I am worthy, and I deserve to be, I deserve to get what it is I need to get, and I deserve to ask for those things. And I think that has been something I'm really trying to just like keep in my heart and my mind, is just like, I am not a burden, and really taking that mindset and being like, you know what? Fuck you. I don't want that mindset with me for the rest of this year. I don't want that mindset with me for the new year. I want to just let's just throw that idea away, because honestly, none of you, none of us, nobody is too much. Nobody is a burden. Nobody is too annoying and bothering people. And as much as I am always the type of person to be like, hey, am I bothering you? Is this annoying you? And even though people will say no, and even if they mean it and they mean it fully, there's still that part of me that's like, you're lying. You're lying to me, right? But we need to throw that idea away. We need to get rid of the idea that we are too much or that we're asking for too much. If that's how you feel, chances are you're just not asking the right people. Chances are you just haven't found the people that are going to be like, yeah, I got you. Or the people that are just going to be like, don't even worry about it. Like, it's done. And I think that is where, when I reflect, I've created like journal prompts, and honestly, y'all, ChatGPT has become the new Google for me. It has become the new Google because I don't even go to Google anymore. I don't even go to Google for anything. If I want to learn something new, I just ask ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT. Like, I asked it this morning to give me a list of journal prompts that I can use to start my day on the right path. And like, you could go to Google and type that in, but you're going to get like so many different things. You're going to get things that you've already done. You're going to get like, all these things that are the same. And I love that ChatGPT has just kind of become like the new Google for me. And so journaling is really where I am trying to direct my energy, because sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's really hard to even tell your closest friends, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling and this is what I'm thinking. And as much as they're like, hey, I know something's going on, even if there isn't, like, I have a friend, I love her so much, but these last couple of weeks she's been like, you sound so tired, like you just always sound tired. And I'm just like, I'm not really that tired. I'm just probably like in a mood or feeling a little down about other circumstances. So that's been like my thing, is just knowing how to be like, listen, I'm not tired. I am good. I'm just in a mood. I'm feeling some type of way that I don't know how to say out loud, or no, I'm just not. I'm just in a good mood. Like, I'm good, and it just maybe sounds like I'm tired, or maybe I sound annoyed because of something else I was dealing with before this call or something, right? And so I think reassuring myself and really checking in with myself has been like a really big thing that I'm really trying to implement a lot into my routines moving forward. This year, I think, came with its pros and cons, as does a lot of things, right? And the pros was that I got to travel. I did a little traveling, spent time with family for Thanksgiving, which was always like super needed. And, I loved being able to do that because we don't get to see each other a lot. And, it was really cool just getting to be there and being in that space with them. With Christmas coming up, Christmas is my favorite holiday of all time. And a lot of people would be like, oh, it's because you love the gifts. The gifts are nice. The gifts are cool, but the gifts is not what truly matters the most. What matters the most to me is that my family is with me and that we get to celebrate together and be together. And that to me is what really matters. Who is texting me? And so, just really kind of prioritizing me and thinking about what is it I need so that I'm not hindering my growth. Because there's always going to be someone in your ear that's like, oh, don't do this, don't do that, don't go here, don't, like, there's always going to be someone to tell you what you shouldn't do. But I think if it's not harming people, and if you're not putting yourself in danger, and if you're not doing anything that's like super crazy and out of this world ridiculous, and it's just something you're doing because you need to do it for yourself, do it. Like, I just believe that I'm at the point now where I'm really focused on my independence and learning how to be a better person and be a healthier person, and how to really kind of like show up in the world with more gratitude and spread more positive energy out there. Like, it's something that you have to really want to do for yourself. And if you're being hindered growth wise or anyway by the people around you, or just by yourself, it doesn't always have to be the people around you, or whatever the case may be for you. It's like you have to learn to take that and be like, okay, what is it I really truly desire? What is it I really want? For me, therapy is really crucial. I haven't been able to go to therapy for like 3 years now, and I'm really trying to get back in there. But like, my alternative is writing. My alternative is meditating. My alternative is sleep and rest, and just listening to my body when it's like, I'm tired, or my brain when it's like, nope, can't do this anymore. And I think just listening and taking in those signs, because sometimes we're just so caught up in like, oh, I have to get this done, and I want to go here, and I have to do this. And it's like, yeah, when my phone said, literally, like when you're having to talk to thousands of people. Sorry, I just kicked the thing that my iPad is on. You can tune yourself out so much, but I think for me, the healthiest thing is to really tune into myself more, and tune in less to a lot of the things in the world, right? Because we're always going to be bombarded by social media and things that people say and things that people tell us, and just the negativity that comes with trying to grow. I've noticed that a lot too, is like there is negativity when you're trying to grow and become a better person, because sometimes that just means you're unaligning from people that weren't really right for you, or that aren't really right for you. And so this year has just been a lot about observing and taking in the things around me and really paying attention to how they are impacting me internally. But also knowing, like, when I do things like VRT, yeah, that might be a small thing to other people. You know, VRT might, for other blind people, that might be like something super, just like, okay, whatever, I'm doing it because I have to, or I'm doing it because like someone else told me to do it. For me, I took that upon myself to get VRT done again, because I knew that there was things I haven't learned in such a long time, and there was things that I really wanted to relearn that I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this unless I really have someone to guide me and who understands the blindness aspect of it, right? Like, this is a sighted person helping me, but she works with blind people. She works with people that, you know, are on different levels of life, that are either beginning and who need a lot more, you know, hands-on work to learn. So that could be someone that's younger, or maybe they're in their 20s, their late teens, and they're like trying to figure out, how do I keep an apartment clean? How do I do this? Maybe they're first learning how to wash the dishes. Like, I was one of those blind people, and I'm still one of those blind people, that I never tried to allow my blindness to stop me. And so it was always so funny for me, because my mom taught me how to wash dishes from when I was like 10. But I also learned, because I did VRT when I was like 10 years old, and that was one of the things they taught me. And one of my aunts would come over, and she'd be like, see me washing the dishes at like 13, 14. And she'd be like, but there's sharp things. Like, is she, you know? And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm all right. I got it. Like, you know, and that's another thing. I didn't really write down like what I was going to talk about in this episode, but I'm just kind of going with the flow. Another thing for me is just knowing that if someone around you, this is especially for people that are in the blind community, or just anybody that's in their 20s that's dealing with the feeling of like, I just want more, I want to do more, you know, there's always going to be someone that maybe is a little skeptical about you doing something for the first time. Like, for my aunt, it was seeing me wash the dishes, but it could be something way bigger for you. Maybe it's you buying your first place. Maybe it's you moving into an apartment after living at home for a really long time. And maybe your parents or whoever, you know, you were living with is a little skeptical. I've learned that the more that they see you doing the thing that you need to do, the more that they see you being independent and taking it upon yourself, the less scared they're going to be. I'm not saying they're going to be completely like, oh, okay, great. But the less scared they're going to be, the less hesitant they're going to feel, the less skeptical they're going to be, right? Like, that was a very big thing for me and my mom, because she never knew what blindness looked like. She didn't know how to really understand that until we were doing all these programs and I was around other blind people, and I would come home and I would start doing all these things independently and taking it upon myself. Because another big thing that I've been telling so many people about is initiative. You as an individual have to take initiative as to what you want to achieve and what you want to do. And if that's something simple as like, I just want to learn how to be healthier. I want to learn how to, you know, I don't know, whatever. It could be something like learning how to cook. If that's something you really, really, really want to work towards, that's you taking an initiative. And so I think the more that she saw me taking an initiative, like taking initiative to just do better and be better and just become better and understand and adjust to living with blindness, I think the more she was like, okay, great. Like, I don't have to be, you know, I don't have to feel super scared. And the older I got, of course, like I would have friends and I would go out with friends and whatever. And for her, it was just like, oh, okay. But I think once I hit college, like that was when she was like, okay, you're good. Like, you're doing good. You know what I mean? And so I think in any situation, it doesn't have to be a parent-child dynamic. It could be in any situation. I'm not saying to do it to prove it to them, but it's about showing them that, hey, I can do this. I am capable. I have the tools that were given to me, that were taught to me, to be able to step out there and do this scary thing for the first time, but know that I'm going to be okay because I have people, or I have the resources I need to turn back to. And I think that is like a major thing I just want to say to people is just like, if you have the resources and you have the people around you that are going to be like, okay, yeah, we're here if you need us, that's great. That's amazing. But if you maybe don't, just finding a community of people that do support you and will be there for you when you step out to do that scary thing for the first time. What else this year? What else? I think this year just taught me so much about becoming a business person. Like, I'm still growing and I'm still learning in that area of my life, but I did a business program back in May, and it gave me so many amazing tools, and it really inspired me. And I think I'm also super grateful for a few women, that actually multiple women, it's not just even a few, it's an amazing group of women that have been not just mentors, but who have become friends, who are, they might be older than me, but they have experience, they have knowledge, they have learned so many things. And to have those individuals in my life has become one of the most amazing things for me, because they constantly are teaching me so much about just living life with blindness and how to do things in certain ways. Like, that's the one thing I love about building community, is that everybody brings something different to the table. Like, that's another big thing I've learned this year, is that it's so easy to compare ourselves to other people. It's so easy to be like, oh, well, this person's on social media doing this and they have like hundreds and thousands of followers and I, whatever. And it's so easy to do that because that's what is right in front of us, and it's easy to compare. One thing I learned is that I don't need to compare. I don't need to try to speed up or slow down or whatever just because somebody else is out here doing something that maybe I aspire to do or to be, right? And that's one of the things I love about these ladies, is that they have really truly, like, they've shown me how to just tap into my own creativity. They've just taught me so many things and brought so many values into my life that I don't think I would have had or discovered had I not found or connected with them. And I just love them so much. So if you can, wherever you are, if you can find a way to put together a community, if you can come together with a friend to, maybe it starts out with just you and two friends and then it becomes something bigger. It doesn't have to be a large community, a large group of people, but the more that you can connect with other people, the more that you'll see, like, hey, we relate on this thing, or hey, I didn't know how to do this before, but thanks to this person and thanks to this group of people, now I have the skills and the tools to be able to do so. And I think that is just such a lovely thing to be able to share and to come together and be like, hey, this is something I'm struggling with. How do I do this, right? And so that's what I've loved about this year, is just, and then I got to meet some of them in person. And meeting them was just so phenomenal because we were able to bring the energy that we already had virtually and just multiply that so much more in person, just by just being around each other and connecting in that way. And it was just phenomenal and, just really great. Dating. I've talked a lot about dating, I feel like, on this podcast these last couple months, maybe. Your girl has been trying to date. I've been really trying to put myself out there, and one of the things that I've done, I was actually on Bumble for close to like 2 months. I just came off of Bumble like a week ago. But I hate the online dating thing. It's never personally been my thing. I've never liked it. I've never enjoyed it. I've never found it to be like something that works for me, because I would just prefer to meet someone in person. Yeah, you can still catfish me in person. There's a lot of things people can still lie about in person, but you're less likely to do so because we're meeting face to face. I mean, one of us won't be able to see you, but hey, I mean, still, right? Like, I prefer that in-person connection versus virtual. And I feel like we live in a society now where online dating has just become the thing, right? Like, everywhere you go, the more that you talk about dating, everybody's like, well, are you on this app? Have you tried this app? I met such and such person through this app. And it's like, that's great. I'm glad. I'm so happy. If you're someone out there that has met their person and their partner on any of these apps, I applaud you 1000% for one, just even being comfortable enough to put yourself out there, but two, finding your person through these apps. But for some people that just isn't the thing, right? Like I'm one of those people that I'm just like, not my thing. Not saying it's not possible, but I have just come to learn this year that I don't really like it. And I had a couple matches, and if you want to hear about those and how that went, I can always talk about that in another episode. But the online dating thing and just the dating world right now, I feel is so hard for so many people because so many people want relationships. Like me and my friends, we're in our mid to I want to say mid 20s. And so many of us just want genuine relationships. We don't want the simple like just hit it and quit it things, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like we don't want that. And I think when you're in your 20s, you get that reply of like, well, you're in your 20s, you should go out and live your life and have fun. Yeah, I'm not saying not to. And I'm not saying that you don't have to be the person to do that. If that's what you like and that's what vibes you like going with, then you do you. But I do think that for the people that are out here in their mid to late 20s that genuinely want true connection and true relationships, online dating makes it so difficult and so discouraging and disappointing because it's like, yeah, for me, there's a lot of single men out there through these apps I've discovered. But at the same time, some of these men out here, they just don't know how to communicate. They just are just kind of weird. But it's like, everybody has a type, everybody has standards, and I've been told my standards are too high, and I'm like, no, my standards are not too high. My standards are perfectly where they need to be, and yeah, maybe they are too high. That's okay. I don't care. But it's like I know what I'm looking for. I know what it is I want in a relationship. I am not just gonna settle. I'm not gonna settle just because someone said they liked me back and they want to take me out. Like I'm not just gonna settle because of that. And so, like I was saying, like I've just learned that it's become really hard for those of us in our mid to late 20s that are really genuinely looking for genuine connection and true relationships. It's like, then you get the people that are like, oh, well, just go out. Just go set a night with your friends. Like I've been getting this a lot from people around me. It's just like, oh, like when you and your friends go out, are you guys looking to meet people? And I said no, because usually when we go out, we're just with each other. We're enjoying each other's company. We're not focused on meeting guys or who, whatever, depending on who's into what, right? Like we're not into that. We're not doing that right now. And I'll get the, well, maybe you should. Maybe you should. And I'm like, yeah, maybe we should. But that's something that is tricky sometimes too, because it's like you go to these places, you try to connect. I'm completely blind, so maybe my friend has caught the eye of someone across the room that she's vibing with. Now she's off, she's making conversation, she's having a great time, they're chatting, they're whatever. But what about me? What if I'm in the corner and I'm still trying to get somebody's attention, but I don't know how to do that when I can't visually see what's happening around me? And so I think as much as the online dating is working for a lot of people, I think it's not working. I think it's not working for a lot of other people. It doesn't work for me. And I think the in-person connecting thing, unless you're going to like a speed dating or a speed networking or something like that, then you're more likely to be able to connect quickly and actually find somebody and maybe meet people. But, for someone like myself who can't see, how do you do that? Genuine question. Like I'm not even gonna pull the I'm asking for a friend. I'm asking for me. But it's like, how do you do that? How do you go out there, get dressed up, look all pretty, and just try to meet people, and then just not know how to do it, especially if like you're with another friend and they've already caught the attention of somebody else and they're vibing and they're having a good time, and you know what I mean? Like those are the really difficult things. So as much as me and my friends like want to set a night up, and as much as I really want to set a night up to just go out and meet people, at the same time it's just like I don't really know. I don't know how that would work. I'm not saying it's not possible, because anything's possible, but I think that there's a lot of pros and cons to both sides of it. There's a lot of pros to maybe dating online for a lot of people. There's a lot of cons to dating online. there's a lot of cons to that as well of dating online. Safety is a very big thing for me. So even if I'm matched with someone virtually, then it's a matter of like, yeah, we have a great conversation, you're a great communicator, you have all these qualities and you check all these boxes that I appreciate and I really am looking for in a person. But when we meet in person, or if I disclose to you that I can't see, and then you just feel like, because that happens a lot of the time. Like that's another huge thing. And that's why I would prefer to meet people in person, because then it kind of takes away that uncomfortable feeling of like, well, you catfished me. And it's like, no, I didn't catfish you. I just didn't feel like disclosing in my bio or directly to you right away that I can't see. I think there's pros and cons to all of it. I think it's just about figuring out what works for each individual person. And I just learned that online dating personally is not my favorite. It doesn't work for me. I just became really bored with it, of the constant swiping, matching, and then unmatching, and then going back to swiping and scrolling and swiping and scrolling. And I'm just like, this is exhausting. This is really exhausting. So that's another thing I've learned this year, is I will not be doing the online dating thing again, unless it truly becomes necessary. But until then, I'm really going to try to put myself out there in person and really just kind of like meet people. Meet people for real. And it's going to be hard, but I'm up for the challenge. I really am. And I'm excited to kind of just see how that goes. And if you guys have suggestions for future podcast episodes, be sure to let me know down below in the comments, or, over on Instagram. And give me suggestions, because we are coming up on a new year and I am going to need some suggestions, even though I have a couple things I want to start getting together for you guys. And yeah, I'm going to have some more friends come on to have great conversations. I'm going to feature some more visionary voices. So I'm really excited for this podcast, and I promise I'm going to try to be more consistent in the new year and actually try to upload like at least a couple times throughout the month. But if I don't, and I accidentally forget to, my Instagram is down below, so be sure to just follow me, and if I forget, just be like, hey, we're looking for episodes, if that's, something you really want. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope you all had a great year. And if all you did this year was just get through and survive and, make it through the year and just keep your head down and push through, I'm proud of you, and you still made it. You still made it through to the end of the year, and that is a major accomplishment. So don't let anybody try to tell you that you should have did more, you could have did more, because you did what you needed to do, and you did more than enough. So I'm sending you all love into this next year. I hope you all enjoy your holidays with your family, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye!